Hello, super artists! Today I will show you how to make a cardboard loom and use two weaving patterns to make fiber art. You will need thick cardboard, a 3x5 index card, scissors, yarn, a marker, washi or masking tape, and a ruler, which is optional in case you don't have an index card. A tapestry needle is useful for weaving thin yarns, but optional. You can also look around for recycled materials that can be woven like paper, ribbon, fabric strips, pipe cleaners, etc. To make the cardboard loom, you will use an index card as a template to trace and cut out your loom. A loom helps hold threads in tension or tightly when weaving. After cutting your cardboard, put tape at the top and bottom edges of the cardboard. Your cardboard should be in a vertical or portrait format. You will use your index card to mark the location of your warp threads, which run vertically on your loom. Index cards vary, so it's important that the lines on them are evenly spaced. If they are not, cut out the uneven line. With a marker, make a mark on the tape at each line on the index card, making sure all your marks are spaced evenly. Do it to the top and bottom of your cardboard loom. With sharp scissors, be careful to cut slits at each mark and stop at the edge of your tape. Do this at the top and bottom of your cardboard loom. If you don't have an index card, then use a ruler to make your marks, making lines that are evenly spaced apart. Now it's time to dress the loom, or wind the warp threads around your cardboard. Start by taping thin yarn on the back of the cardboard. Then place the yarn on the left top slit and wind it across to the bottom left slit. Then turn it over and continue winding the yarn on each slit from top to bottom, creating evenly spaced lines with your yarn. The yarn should be tight or wound with tension. When you are done, cut and tape the yarn. Now it's time to weave. If you are using thin yarns or string, a tapestry needle is helpful. Tapestry needles have a large eye or hole, and they have a blunt point. Thread your needle with the yarn and make a knot around the eye to prevent unraveling. Start weaving your yarn using the plain weaving pattern by going under one warp thread and over the next one. Continue going under and over the warp threads until you reach the end. Leave a long tail at the end of your weft yarn, which is the thread that you weave horizontally on the loom. Push your weft yarn down with your fingers. On the second row, weave your weft yarn to the right side with the same pattern, going over and under, but make sure to start weaving the yarn on top of the warp thread instead of under. This will make sure that your rows don't slip out. When you get to the last warp thread, pull your yarn diagonally and then push it down with your fingers. If you pull the yarn too much, it creates uneven weaving. Continue to weave your weft yarn using the under one, over one pattern and alternating each row until you get the thickness that you want. To hide your tails when you are done, wrap the end of the yarn around the last warp thread and weave your tapestry needle through all of the loops at the end of each row. Then cut the yarn. Do it for all of the loose ends. Now I will show you how to use a different weaving pattern using different yarn color. Instead of going under one, over one, you're going to weave your yarn under two and over two. That means you're going to go under two threads and over two threads, creating a pattern called basket weaving. Remember to leave a long tail after weaving your row. Then continue weaving your yarn by going under 2 and over 2 warp threads. Like with plain weaving, remember to push your weft yarn down as you weave each row. When you are done, hide your tails by weaving your tapestry needle through the last loops of your rows. Notice the difference in the weaving patterns. With plain weaving, you can see the warp threads, but not as much with basket weaving. Now continue to weave using your favorite weaving patterns and colors. You can also use other recycled materials to weave on your cardboard loom. Don't be afraid to play and experiment. When your weaving is done, you can leave it on the loom or you can take it off. If you want to take it off, remove the tape and cut the warp threads on the back in half. Slowly pull out the warp threads and tie 2 warp threads at a time with a double knot. Do the same on both sides. If your weft threads are coming off, only remove 2 warp threads at a time and tie the double knot first before removing the other warp threads. Now trim your fringe at the top and bottom if you want. Have fun weaving, and I can't wait to see what you make.